Hey, welcome back. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for their kind words on the previous video. I received a lot of positive comments and encouraging words on both YouTube and Reddit. There were even a number of articles written on the sequencer, most notably over Tom's hardware. It's incredibly encouraging to me, so thank you to everybody involved. Since the last video, I've started building the final module. I designed and 3D printed some structural supports. I optimized the sequencer code. I made a plan for optimizing the signal flow of this prototype, allowing us to remove all those cables flying off everywhere. And I've been thinking about where to go from here. In this video, I would like to show you the work I've done since last time, most of which has been preparing for being able to finish this prototype. When I started out with this project, I didn't really have much of a clue as to what I was doing, so the code structure was interesting to say the least. I've refactored a lot of the code. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot easier to maintain and to add new features now. Of course, this didn't go entirely well the first time around. Absolutely nothing worked right when I ran the updated code for the first time. I fixed some issues I found, only to discover more things that didn't work correctly. Some more bug hunting later, however, everything was working well once more. With the code fixed and now being a bit more manageable to work in, I set out to start designing some support structures for the modules. I designed these with a wonderful free tool called Tinkercad, which I can recommend to anyone getting started with designing stuff for 3D printing. I'll put a link in the description. It had been a while since I last printed anything. After recalibrating my printer, I started printing some tests. The first test failed as it didn't stick well, and so did the second, to be honest. During the printing of the third attempt, I started getting some serious range anxiety as my filament just about ran out when the print neared completion. Luckily, I had just enough filament left for the print to finish. There's still some quality control issues with this print, and I wanted to tweak the design a bit more, so here's how that went. Now is probably a good time to talk about the new module you saw me working on at the beginning of the video. While sequencing some music using a Game Boy Advance sound font, I realized I disliked the lack of modulation and velocity control. In case you don't know, velocity means how hard or soft the note is played, and modulation modulates, meaning it changes some aspect of the sound. This could be anything depending on whatever you have connected. So I want the new module to give controls for both of these things. In addition, I would like to add some macros or shortcuts for copying note layers across patterns. Some aspects of sequenced music are repetitive in nature. Drum beats, for example, will consist of a lot of similar note data. I would like to add a function to copy all notes on a note layer from one pattern to another, so that you don't have to waste a bunch of time entering the exact same thing over and over again. Side note, if you're wondering what's up with the lighting, I recorded most of this on a very overcast day. The sun kept breaking through for a few minutes at a time, which my camera didn't much appreciate. I hope to be setting up a better time-lapse filming location in the future, but for now, this will have to do. Here I'm about to test the new module's 7-segment displays and LEDs for the first time. When I turned the power on, precisely nothing happened. So to find the issue, I started by manually shorting power to individual LEDs. They lit up, which told me there was nothing wrong with the power delivery. I swapped the module out for a known working module to sanity check my testing setup. That also worked, and then I figured it out.
Did I wire these 7 segments up incorrectly? Oh, I did. Okay. The problem is that I put Let me see if I can show you. These resistors over here, they're going into ground and they're supposed to be going into positive. That's why they're not lighting up. So I will fix that real quick and I will be right back. Let's see what happens now. Looks like we're still having a bit of an issue. So I removed the second shift register and look at this. The leg broke off. So I'll replace the shift register and we'll see if that fixes the issue. Plug in ground. Look at that. Very good.
All that's left to do now is to wire up the buttons to the input shift registers, which you can see me doing here. Next video, I'll finish the code to make the new module work so I can demonstrate its features. I'll clean up all the stray wires with that improved signal flow path I mentioned earlier. And I think we'll be able to more or less finish up this prototype. In the future, I plan to create an Arduino-based PCB version of the sequencer, but before we'll get into that, I have some plans for some other MIDI-based instruments I would like to build, but I'll tell you more about that later. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, consider leaving a comment or maybe subscribing. It probably won't take me a year to upload a new video. No promises though. For now, I'll leave you with some music.